business. Chapter 1 of Sovereign Architecture is Foundation over Feelings. In real world problems, emotional leadership does not scale. In the early stages of a business, emotions feel like strength. Everyone's close, everyone's invested, decisions are quick and personal, but as pressure increases, deadlines, payroll, clients' growth, emotion can become unstable ground. That's what emotional looks like in practice right here. Standards band depending on who's asking. Accountability gets postponed to avoid discomfort. Poor performance is understood instead of corrected. Leaders absorb stress instead of designing systems to handle it. Nothing breaks immediately, and that's the danger. The organization continues functioning, just with hairline cracks forming everywhere. The cracks don't announce themselves. They wait for load. Feelings are not load bearing. In construction, no one argues with physics. You don't ask steel how it feels today. You don't hope concrete cures correctly. You don't motivate the foundation into holding the weight. You design it to spec or the building fails. Leadership works the same way. Feelings are real, but they're not structural. They change daily, right? Feelings, the feelings are. They change. So if your work, if your business is functioning around who likes you and who doesn't, as far as like your employment and people in your trust on your team, then there are a lot of underlying eggshells that people try to avoid to walk on or to address, right? Because it could be uncomfortable. But then with enough of ignoring the stuff, we call it sweeping stuff under the rug sometimes. With enough of that, the you're just not even standing on solid foundation anymore. You're standing on whatever's been swept under the rug. They change daily. They fluctuate under pressure. They cannot be relied on in crisis. If you're a boss and you're in a crisis and it's lunchtime and you're hungry, but you can't take a break for another hour or two because you're busy addressing a situation, making decisions during that block of time is like, it's like, whew, you know, let's get this shit over with so I can go. Or at the end of the day, at the end of a Friday, right? We think a little bit differently because we're already disengaged and out of there. So if we were to operate like that as our business, as our family structure, government, kingdom, then that's a little bit different. It's a faulty way of doing things, right? A leader's job is not to eliminate emotion. It's to build systems that don't depend on emotional stability to function. When foundations are strong, people feel safer, performance improves, trust increases, stress decreases. Paradoxically, structure creates peace. We don't like the rules and rigidness and this and that, but structure creates peace, right? And that's why we discuss such topics. Here's a short story of the leader who understood too much. There was a shop manager who prided himself on being understanding. If someone was late, he empathized. If work slipped, he gave grace. If tension rose, he smoothed it over. He was well liked, and his operation slowly collapsed. Top performers burned out carrying the load. Mediocre performers felt protected. Standards became optional. Eventually, the best people left, not because the leader was harsh, but because he refused to be firm. When the numbers finally forced action, the corrections felt cruel. When the numbers finally forced action, the corrections felt cruel. People were shocked. Resentment exploded. What should have been routine maintenance became emergency surgery. The leader didn't lack heart, he lacked foundation. To close this chapter, leadership is not about being liked, it's about being reliable. Your people don't need you emotionally available at all times, they need you structurally consistent. Build foundations that don't wobble with your mood. Design standards that don't shift with circumstances. Create environments where people can stand upright, not guess which version of you they're getting today. Because your feelings are human, but foundations are what holds civilizations.